Hello, and welcome back to the Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. Today, I want to talk to you about some tips that can help you when you're going through a season that is just really tough. We've all been there. I'm not talking about a time when you are actually depressed or there's something else going on like that. I'm just talking about a season in life where things are not going fantastically. Something may have happened, or you're just really feeling in a funk and really feeling down. If you're in touch with yourself enough to realize that that is the case, here are 5 tips that can help you navigate this season. First, if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. You can hit the bell and you'll be notified when the next video goes live. The first tip is going to seem a little bit counterintuitive, especially if you're in a season where you feel like you have a lot going on and you kind of feel like you're trudging through life and it's hard to get through all of the things that you need to do. The first thing you're going to need to do is to prioritize rest. And again, this may seem like it doesn't make sense, but I'm in a season where I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I can't get all of the things done that I need to get done. Are you telling me I need to take a break? And I absolutely am saying that. I'm speaking from a place of experience. I mean, really, we've all been there, but not too long ago, I was going through a season where that I really could not help some of the things that had happened to me. I had been treated a certain way and it really wasn't fair. And even as an adult, sometimes you just want to kind of stomp your foot on the ground and say, this is not fair. This is not right. The reality is, that was happening. And before I realized it, it kind of put me in a funk where just felt like I was trudging through mud to get through life. I decided that I was going to have to prioritize some time of rest. Maybe each day I would take some time aside and say, this is some time I need to rest and recuperate. Maybe I needed to say no to some things because I needed a little bit of time just to rest. Now, I'm not talking about climbing in the bed and staying in there all day. That is not healthy at all. But saying, I'm setting a timer for 30 minutes and I'm going to take a moment to close my eyes and to chill out a little bit. If we prioritize that and we acknowledge that we need a little bit of time to recuperate, maybe our bodies just need some extra time to rest, especially getting those 8 hours of sleep each night. This is going to go a long way to helping us move past how that we're feeling. The second thing that I find really beneficial is to prioritize prayer and uplifting conversations. This is not a season to say, I don't have the time to spend that morning devotion reading my Bible and talking to God. This is not the time to say, I don't have time for that. This is the time to prioritize that. If you ever need it in any season, you need it now. Let's be honest, we need to talk to God every single day. But sometimes when things are really tough, we can kind of I can at least ignore facing some stuff and really talking to God about some of the hard things in life, just because I don't necessarily want to face them. Be sure that through this season that you are prioritizing that, and also prioritizing time with those people in your life that provide uplifting conversations, not the people who are going to bash everybody and bring you further down, but the people who are going to uplift you and the people who are going to be positive, and they are going to be a positive influence in walking with you through this season. Another thing that you can do to change the atmosphere of your home is listen to worship music. I typically don't listen to any music at all, but it really makes a difference. If I turn on some worship music, sometimes it kind of stops those thoughts in my brain and I focus on the words of the song instead, which is so much better than some of the toxic thoughts that I can have in my brain. And so really take some time to prioritize uplifting things. Those are the things we need to really be focusing on this time when things are a little bit hard. The third thing is to only put 1 to 3 tasks on your list for the day. Now, you may be saying, this is nuts. The reason I'm feeling overwhelmed is because I have so much going on. I have so much to do. But we can further overwhelm ourselves by creating this massive to-do list, and then we don't get it done. So then we feel like we're further in a hole rather than looking at it and saying, okay, I've got to prioritize some things. I have got to choose the very most important things. What are the 3 things today that have to get done? And be realistic about it. If it's 3 massive projects, that's not going to happen today. And so that's why I'm saying 1 to 3 things. It's a little bit of like a dopamine hit whenever we check that stuff off of our list. Don't overwhelm yourself even further by creating this massive to-do list. Choose only 1, 2, or 3 things at the most that are priorities for you to get done that day. Number 4 is to keep the space around you tidy. If you followed me for any length of time, you've heard me talk about how that physical clutter is going to translate to mental clutter. And we do not want to feel even more overwhelmed. And we walk into a space, especially if we're already feeling some anxiety, if we're already feeling some stress that has a ton of stuff in it, we're just going to feel even more stressed. If you haven't realized that, pay attention to the way you're feeling when you're in a calm space that's tidy and clean. You're going to begin to feel peaceful and to feel the calmness of that space. You walk into a space that has a ton of stuff in it, you're probably going to start to feel your anxiety levels rise. You're going to start to feel a little bit more stressed. We don't want to create that environment in our home. And maybe this is not the time for you to truly declutter your house or to really get in there into deep clean. So grab a bin, one of those plastic boxes. You can get them at Walmart or Target or really any store. You likely have an extra one in your garage or attic. Grab one of those boxes, walk around the stuff that is not important, just go ahead and stash it in that box. You can go through that later. Pack away what you need to in order to allow your surfaces to be clear, to allow the space around you to be clear and clutter-free, and that is going to help to translate into a clutter-free mind. It's definitely not going to add to your anxiety. It's going to help you to feel calmer when you have a calmer space around you. And the final tip is to take care of your body. Now, this is one that I am not very good at. Those first 4, I've been working on them and I do pretty well at prioritizing those things. But prioritizing my physical body has not been something that I have been fantastic at. Sometimes we just, when we're really busy or we're overwhelmed or we have a lot going on, we'll just kind of grab whatever is on hand. Take the time to think through, okay, can I quickly make a grocery order and just order some healthy things that I can easily grab? Sometimes quick, healthy snacks are difficult and maybe a little bit more expensive, but go ahead and bite the bullet and pay a little bit more money in order for your body to be healthy and to be able to deal with all of the stress that you have going on. We can also choose to drink water, maybe over so much coffee. Sometimes what I'll do is I will reward myself. If I want another cup of coffee, I make sure that I drink a full 16-ounce bottle of water before I'm going to drink the next cup of coffee. And so just making a few choices where that we're prioritizing our body, we're prioritizing the health of our body so that we can deal with the stress that we're feeling. Maybe you're watching this video and you're not in a season that is feeling overwhelmed, where you're feeling overwhelmed or you're having a lot of stress. That's fantastic. Tuck these tips away for later because the reality is we'll all be there. But if you're in one of those seasons right now, I am so sorry, but I believe that you can absolutely make it through this season. Choose just one of these tips to focus on today and then add the rest of them slowly as you can. You can make it through this. You are going to succeed. I'll add another video here at the end that will help you as well through this season.